City blood, we gon' trip if they bum through. And if they bum, we gon' blick any chimney brick it, and that's brassy. Bet.
So it is -1, or it's 1 degrees out. So I wanted to do a story. I talked to my homie Stakk, and he was like, man, what if we could really get some people on there? And I'm like, might have to dig up some old bones, but you know, at first I didn't really want to know, you know, I didn't know who wants to be on camera doing stuff like this. As y'all know, I'm gonna start the reaction videos back up, get these algorithms back up. We're gonna try to get at least 1,500 people, you know what I'm saying? So now that people are a little bit more open to being on camera a little bit about, you know, going through the adventures of DP, because it's not, you got to think, it's not just an adventures of me, it's an adventures of DP, it's an adventure of other people too. They might feel like they got some adventures. There's certain people that might feel like I've talked to some of my guys and some of my homies, and they're like, man, they never really wanted to tell a story and be on camera and talk about their lives or open it up to a certain degree. I mean, once you open it up, you open it up. But, you know, they never felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, with this new AI shit and these videos, I mean, you could do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stories, and you could come up with something. There's people, man. There's people that have made things and made lives and created movies and all kind of stuff. Like, where do you think Star Wars came from? They probably took some story from Africa or some Asian samurai or something like that and came up with that. They could have took a biblical story and made it. But I mean, you know, like, there's all kind of ideas people could come with and stuff. And unfortunately, chaos brings opportunity. That's America. But it's getting too damn hot. But this particular story is I was gonna make another Stakk Dose story. Now the trailer that y'all saw was my reenactment of what I thought I'm getting too damn hot. I can't do it. I can't do it. This is a reenactment. It was a reenactment of what I thought Stakk's story was like coming from St. Louis as a youngin'. He had that sword. They got a new little. He came up here in the early 90s in St. Louis, like a lot of black people have that migrated, or should I guess say move, because I don't, you know, they try to always say, well, they're migrants, and you know, yeah, we just moved, man. But anyway, like, so they just came up here to Minnesota. It wasn't like the Great Migration, but it was enough. It was a bunch of people from the Midwest. It was people from Chicago, some from St. Louis, mostly Chicago, Milwaukee, and then people from Gary and stuff too. So LA, we got to keep it 100. You had all kind of folks coming from different places, and it turned the city upside down. I'm not gonna lie about it. You had all these different personalities, and then you had all these dudes from different street organizations and gang. Man, that turned Minneapolis upside down. We ain't gonna take the feet off the flames. That's what the fuck happened. And so you got all these different personalities and these different ideologies and all this and stuff, and so that shit don't necessarily gonna mix. You see what I'm saying? So you had a lot of black folks that came up here. You had some people, some of their parents, they came up here because there's money, and they wanted to work. And then you had a bunch of lazy ass niggas that came too. Let's keep it real, so they can just lay above the government or whatever like that. So, you know, anyway, so you had a mix of bunch of people coming. I ain't gonna pull no punches. I know, I remember the 90s. So now he probably came up here after it was dubbed Erterapolis with the M. He came from St. Louis, so he kind of still had the accent or whatever like that.
Man, eating good? That's a St. Louis masterpiece right there.
Psh, you ain't even put no hot sauce on it. Can't call it a masterpiece like that.
It's good without it. Y'all always argue. You just keeping the score, net.
Hey, pass that punch, little bro.
So now, when Stakk arrived, he came to North Minneapolis. Now, I used to date this one girl, and I want to put a little segment on there. It was another Redbone. And this was probably when I was living with my mom. And she was super, super bad. But for some reason, we didn't keep talking. I forgot her name. I'm going to try to throw a video in about what she looked like. If you look at the Sharona, the fuck? I was driving with no mirror? Hold on. I was driving with no damn mirror. I had the mirror coming in like the bat. You know the Batarang? Little Batmobile. I just kind of, my shit was folded up like a dragonfly. So, I used to date this one chick that came, and it's pertinent to the story. We was talking. I might have been 19, 18. I don't know how old I was. She had long ass hair. She was a Redbone. She looked like she was an Indian or something almost to a certain degree. But she wasn't from here. I think she was from California. And somehow, you know, when I had my pager, I might have had my CDs, whatever. I must have chopped her up on the bus and we talking. Real good head on her shoulders. I don't know why I stopped talking to her. I probably tried to knock her down or something like that. And she just wasn't, you know, she's a good girl. So she was kind of holding up like, you know, trying to see what's going on. She's from California. So she a little quicker than me. But she moved up here and she was telling my mom, because I did bring her to the crib. And my mom liked her a lot. She kind of reminded me of Esmeralda a little bit, but she ain't had that mouth. And she was telling my mother, we came up here and we moved to North Minneapolis. My mom shook her head right when she said that. She said, we didn't know. Much like what happened to Stakk, her first day when she got to North Minneapolis, somebody got their head knocked off. Her first day, they moving in, she come outside and stands on the porch and watches somebody's brains over the damn pavement.
Quiet out here. Back home, if you were on the porch too long, somebody might slide by, you feel me? My cousin got mixed up in some mess, so my mom sent me to my auntie in North. Figured I'd get a chance to breathe.
So you traded palm trees for snowbanks?
Pretty much. But it's cool. Folks out here actually say hi when they walk by.
Long as you stay out of trouble.
This is the first day that they moved in. They thinking, well, I left South Central or the Bay Area. It's sweet. Let me go to North Minneapolis because that's where the black folks is at. They probably really didn't do their research. It's not like we had Wikipedia and Google. You didn't have WorldStar back then where you could be like, hey, man, you might want to kind of check this place out. You might want to stay in Richfield. You move where you got the money to. They might have been on a program, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, she had a head on her shoulders. Her mama probably had it. But they was still over north. And they like, damn, man, we over here. And we thinking that we left Babylon to reach Babylon again. They thinking that, well, you know, little Minnesota, the Timberwolves, and a bunch of little white people and the Gophers, and they had no idea where they were moving at. They moved in the zone. Done like 26 to something. They moved in the middle of the heat of the battle. And they had no clue where they were at. Because they can see some black folks and stuff. You know, they not thinking that it gets like that, like back home. Minneapolis is small. It's all condensed together. You see what I'm saying? It's very small. North Minneapolis ain't that big no way. But they thought, well, you know, let's just go over here. They didn't do no research. And I wouldn't put it, I'm not going to put it on them that they should have, well, they probably could have. I don't know where they could have looked, man. This was like 99, 2000, 01. I don't know. This was around kind of that time. I might have been out of high school or what. I don't know. All I know is she said, she was telling my mom this. And my mom said, you moved over north.
Honey, y'all should have known not to move over north.
We had no clue. I'm glad I met Derek.
And that's what happened to Stakk. Stakk came from St. Louis to North Minneapolis directly.
North side, huh?
Take that on in, baby.
Yeah, I'm coming. Whole new city, same me though.
Yo,
You always talk like that? Like what? All country and stuff. Where you from?
Missouri, Southside St. Joe. Y'all ain't never heard it.
So he went from the fire into the furnace. You know what I'm saying? And so they eventually moved to Luxton Park where it was a little bit more relaxed over Southeast Minneapolis. So I reenacted that in the trailer. Now, this is supposed to be a Stakk story, but this has something to do with it. Now, that girl that I was talking, like I say, I'm trying to remember more about it, but She was really, really fine, real fine. And I don't know what happened. I think maybe she wanted me to come by or something. I'm like, man, y'all, somebody just got their head knocked off. She wasn't there long, but they were thinking about moving. I don't think they were talking about moving back to California. But again, you know, it was like an Esmeralda story. Like I say, I used to bring people by the house or whatever. Like this particular time, it wasn't at night, it was during the day. So we didn't really go nowhere, you know, but I don't know what happened to us. I really don't know. I'm gonna try to see if I can't, you know, dig something up in my head. But I remember that she was sitting there telling my mom, hey man, we from California. And she didn't have that strong accent, but man, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so now Stakk, he's over there in Luxton Park. Stack's uncles, far as I know, in St. Louis, they were blue rags and they were red rags. He had a mixture in his family. Now, in St. Louis, I'm not really sure how the politics was, but they moved because the danger. And even to this day, St. Louis is dangerous as shit.
Samuel, an innocent McDonald's manager caught in the crossfire.
I feel there should be justice because
we don't want to talk about East St. Louis. Oh man, it's dangerous as shit. Yeah, you know, Right There and Country Grammar, they more than just that. You gotta watch it when you down there. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it everywhere. So they thinking, well, Minnesota's better. Most people, that's what they thinking. Like, oh, it can't be too much worse than where I came from. Shit. Certain places, you be like, wait a minute, I should have just stayed. So they eventually go to Luxton Park and stuff like that. Now, Luxton Park, it's a little bit of a different dynamic. It's a mixture. Y'all seen Luxton Park or whatever. So now he's beating some of the Chicago people, some of the people that we kind of grew up with or whatever like that. So he kind of had a mixture of being out south and then being, you know, so he lived over north, but then he lived over south. I always lived over south. I never lived over north. I never lived over southeast. I always lived in the West Bank. So, but the thing, what's interesting about the West Bank and southeast, if you live in the West Bank, and because our school is South High. Now, really, him being over in Luxton Park, he ain't supposed to go to South High. That's across the bridge. He's supposed to be over there in what's that little there's a high school over northeast. That would have been probably his closest district. I don't think he's really supposed to come to South High. I don't know how. He probably made a request or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But to be honest, with him being over southeast, the closest high school would have been it's over northeast. It's off of Central Avenue. I forgot what it's called, man. I can't remember what it's called. But Stakk went to south. Stakk was coming over south, but he always went over south. He lived over southeast, but all the schools, elementary schools that he went to was over southeast. You would think that he would have went to an elementary school in St. Paul. You would have thought that, but his district, it's weird. The West Bank is right at the edge of the earth. It's right at the edge of the south side. So it cuts off right there, and it's southeast St. Paul. Literally like blocks. So, he's in Luxton Park. So now he's met all his friends. Like if you see the trailer, these niggas from Chicago. These are GDs. You see what I'm saying? So now, you know, those are the folks he grew up around in that park. So they naturally take a liking to him or whatever. So now let's get into the story about one of the stories that was with Stakk. This is at the Mall of America. And then we can get into a couple other little ones or whatever. This is at the mall. Now, we in one of his cars, one of his multiple cars, because bro always got a million of them. So I don't never know what he gonna pull up in. So we go into the mall. We decide we want to go shop. This particular day, he gets into an argument with somebody in the parking lot. Of course, it wasn't funny. Of course, it wasn't funny at the time. It was kind of humorous to me, just a little bit. But to him, of course, it was not. Because bro can get snapped in 0.5 seconds. Like if you do something to him, he ain't gonna bother you. But if you do something to him, if he feels offended, bro goes 0 to 180 miles per hour. He's doing, you know, like the Peregrine Falcon. I gotta find something for that. Do you know the Peregrine Falcon that goes up and it comes down and it grabs a goose at 220 miles per hour?
Peregrine Falcon is the fastest animal in the world with the help of gravity.
Bro could go from 0 to 220 within seconds. He gets accelerates like a Ferrari. And it ain't like 60, it's just 200. So there's a dude that they both drove up to the park and we were about to park. So there's a dude that is trying to get the parking and we're trying to get the parking. But we were kind of like there first. I mean, we were both kind of close. So Stakk takes the parking.
Yeah, right there, open spot by the pole.
Bet. Or he moves in towards the parking. The white dude, he get mad because he felt, you know, that Louis felt a little entitled, whatever. Like Stakk was supposed to move. He was close, but Stakk was closer. You could see that Stakk would have had kind of the right of way. They were very close to each other, but Stakk would have had the, like, had it been me, I would have, if I would have seen somebody else get that parking, oh, okay, they closer, they got it. He must have felt that Stakk should have waited. So Stakk pulls in, he pulls in, and the white dude rolls down his window and calls him an asshole.
A lot thick today.
Always is. We'll find one though.
All right, check that.
Yeah, right there.
Bet. Hey, that's my spot. Hey, you fucking asshole. I reenacted the best way I can because the shit was. He said, you fucking asshole. Kind of looked like, who the fuck you talking to? Bitch, bro parks the car. He rolls down the window and he sticks his head out the window. I'm gonna try to reenact the best way I can. Just the look on his face. How about that? I'll beat your ass, blood. You know, he's just kind of going. That's like the bro don't really yell. He don't really yell or he don't get loud unless he's getting excited about like a rap feud, or if you're talking about some hip hop or some stuff that's very interesting. He don't really raise his voice like that, or he might laugh loud, but bro don't really yell at nobody. I've never really heard him yell. So to hear him yes, he's like, yeah. So he's going off and he's like, he's sticking his head out the window. He was mad. He's sticking, and he's still holding the steering wheel. So he's sticking his head out the window. I'll beat your ass, blood. Fuck wrong with you? So he's just going off with the dude. And so the shit's funny. The shit look funny as it gets seen. And then, so the white dude gets scared. And so he's still kind of yelling at him or whatever. Like the white dude kind of gets scared. He's off because he's thinking he's gonna get his ass. He thought that he could basically just say that and that was just gonna be it. But that's not what happened. So the white dude, I guess he was with his wife or whatever. So the white dude, he kind of gets scared and he just kind of scurries off or whatever like that. Stakk though still kind of cussing at him while he's driving past. And then bro just sits down and it just goes back to normal. So it went from 200 back down to 0. So he's unbuckling himself and he's kind of grumbling and mumbling about it. So I start fucking with him a little bit. I said, bro, you weren't mad, were you? And he looks. I said, you got me fucked up, blood. He said, I had a parking spot first. So I'm just kind of trolling him like we would do shit like that. I'm just fucking with him. I said, you know, if he hopped out, man, I would have got on him with you, man. Like, you know, which I would. Like, if dude would have hopped out and tried to get like aggressive, like he's trying to fight us and all this kind of stuff, you know, the dude's wife's like, oh, calm down, bro. She's trying to pull the white dude away. So he was with some people. He was with a car full of people. So, and ultimately, they probably knew that they were wrong for him calling them that. But, and I figured that bro would react, you know what I'm saying? Because when he said asshole, I looked. And I said, who the fuck he talking to? But bro just stuck his head out the window so quick like an ostrich. Like, he didn't give me no time to really, the fuck you talking to? I'll beat y'all, slap the fuck. So he was telling the dude he'll slap him. And he's gonna slap him. So while he's unbuckling his seatbelt and he kind of sitting back, now we sitting in the car for a minute because maybe he's just kind of cooling off or whatever. But he's not saying nothing. He's not saying anything at all. You know, so I trolled him. I said, hey man, you ain't mad, is you? And he can look like, I was gonna slap the shit out of that new blood. So I'm thinking that he's cooled off now because he looks calm. He's just sitting there like this. He said, all right, let's go. So we get up, he locked the door. We go into the Mall of America. And this is what I'm saying, 0 to 200. This is where the 0 to 200 comes in. So I can tell by his demeanor, and bro got this little walk. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find a video of this little walk he does. He got this little walk. So now, I guess he's kind of in his mode. Now, maybe in his mind, he's kind of like, man, if somebody say something else, that's what he looked like. So, and he got this look, he got this black diamond chain on. He got this black diamond chain on. So now we going into the mall. And you know, the mall is a place where you supposed to go to spend money. But it's always some bum ass niggas in the mall just looking and staring and mugging. And bro don't like that shit. So now, we in the mall, we go to the second floor. And I'm just kind of looking at his demeanor. I'm kind of off to the side. And bro's just bouncing. He's just kind of walking. And then, you know, and he got his little hat on and stuff like that. So he's looking from side to side. And he's walking. And he got this little walk. And so he's walking and he's looking from side to side, and I can kind of tell he's not saying nothing, but I can just picture in his mind, he's probably saying, man, dude got me messed up. So he's still kind of mad about the shit. Mad about the shit. So he turns and says, got me fucked up. We're on the second floor, we're walking like not to the food court, but we're walking. So he just says, yeah, he had me fucked up. Just randomly. That's all he said. And then he's walking again. So we're kind of walking around the stores. We're getting ready to go, get ready to buy some stuff. And then he says something else out of the blue. Now this is like 3 minutes later. Oh man, motherfuckers be mugging, bro. Motherfuckers be mugging, blood. You know what I'm saying? He's
Hey bro, you still salty about old boy in the Camry? He snatched that spot like he paid rent on it. He even hit you with the little 2-finger wave. That what did it. I swear he was ready to file a report. Man, he slid in there like a pit crew. I almost clapped for him. Come on, we at the biggest mall in the country. Everything smelling like pretzels. Let it go.
I'm not talking.
So it might have been somebody else that might have looked, and he was already mad. So it's a reason for him to. So he don't, like I said, he don't like, if he thinks somebody's mugging or looking, he's just kind of aggressive like that. This is another time I'm gonna go into the mall. Hold on, let me finish the mall. So I start trolling him again. I said, bro, you ain't still mad, is you? And he looked. He said, all right, man, let's go to the store. So he didn't really reply. He just got to look. He didn't really reply. So I can tell he's still upset. But he don't really look upset. It's just the look. It's just the, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of walking, so you could still tell that he's upset. But you can't really see like it's not a frown, but he's not saying a lot. So that's how I tell he's mad. So this another time we going to Harry Singh's. We going to Harry Singh's, where this is the same block where the white guy got shot. The 37-year-old white guy got unalived by the feds. So there's somebody there's a corner, there's Harry Singh's, and there's a corner store where they got like, it's on like 24th and Nicollet, 25th and Nicollet or whatever like that. We park across there because we going to get some Caribbean food. And it's somebody that's on the corner across the street. I guess they're looking over at us. I don't know if I think it was a Somali dude or something like that. I mean, that's a heavy immigrant population or whatever like that. So it's like Somali, Mexicans or whatever, or it's somebody that's over there. Across the street. I guess he didn't like the way that he was looking over at us or something like that. He didn't like the way I didn't really pay much mind to the dude, but dude was kind of looking, but I guess he didn't like the expressions on his face. He said, I'll go over there and beat his ass. I said, who you talking about? He's a dude over there. He said, man, that nigga ain't running nothing. Cause I guess he felt that he was mugging. And bro don't tolerate no mugging. He wants to get immediately to the issue and resolve it. If he thinks that it's an issue, he wants to immediately, you know what I'm saying? He's calmed down, of course, but you know, bro was on that. Like, if he thinks there's one shred of aggressiveness towards him, it don't be like random, like just a random person. But if you lock eyes and you act like you trying to get aggressive, and he might have felt that the dude was trying to get. I mean, he was looking at us, but he must have seen it before I did. So I said, man, what's going on? Can I? Because me, I'm trying to eat, you know. So I'm like, hey. Hey, what's going on, Stack? He said, man, that nigga over there mugging. I said, And he is kind of looking a little bit. He said, man, that nigga been looking too long, bro. He said, I'll go over there and you know what I'm saying? So we get ready to cross the street. So now I'm thinking, well, this is going to be a fight. We're going to whoop dude's ass. So we get across the street. Dude he's still kind of looking a little bit. And so Stack's still looking at him. Dude turns around and walks and starts walking down the street. Because maybe he must have saw that bro was just on his wolf shit. He was still kind of looking at the dude. And the dude's still looking. So maybe he felt it's like a little stare down or something like that. But maybe bro, when he saw us come across the street, maybe he thought it was going to be a situation. So he kind of moves. He walks like a block down. Stack comes, yeah, I'll get on his ass. Up here mugging, looking like he running something or whatever. So bro, maybe he wanted some Caribbean food. So fuck, he looks, ain't want no Caribbean food. This broke ass just standing on. He said, he ain't going to intimidate me, nigga. Ain't nobody going to, you know. So, but see, he's not bothering people. It's just that, see, this is the thing about Minneapolis, I'm going to tell y'all. Dudes don't mind their own business. And they like to mug a lot. He's not the dude you want to do that to. He's just not. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to tolerate it. If he thinks that it's an issue, like, you know how, and a lot of guys do that here because they might be around a group of people or, you know, they figure they might have a weapon or whatever. So they'll try to impose intimidation on just random people. And you just going to find the right one. But bro's not having it. He's just not. So it'll be situations where he's minding his own business and somebody else gets feeling, well, yeah, you know, I'm from the streets. I'm like that or whatever. That's not a good idea to do that to bro, man. It's just not. You're going to be like that and you might not be like that in a moment. Because bro can turn into Mayweather and John Wick within 2 seconds. So it ain't no guarantee, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, it's not 0 to 60, it's 0 to 200 without a word. Nothing. He's not gonna say anything. He might say maybe one thing to you, maybe one thing real calm. Hey, bro, is it a problem or something? Real calm. He's not gonna yell. He's not gonna do that. Real calm. So he would have these little, I'm thinking about all these little stories, stuff I would see or like these things I would hear, and he'd be explaining it very, very calmly about what happened. Or it might have been an altercation or something like that. And like I say, he's not the type, he's not a follower. So he's not gonna let you impose on nothing. He's not gonna let you impose on his ideology. He's not gonna let you impose on your ideas or what you think he should do. He's not gonna let you impose on, and he's never been one of these kind of dudes where, you know how somebody could say, well, man, you don't be in the hood no more, whatever like that. And what, nigga? If somebody from, you know, his area was like, and y'all know what I'm talking about, like, hey, man, you ain't been around, but nigga, so what?
You don't be in the hood no more, blood. Why?
So what? You got a problem? I'll give you a 3-piece without the sweet sauce.
He might beat up one of his own comrades if they get out of line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put paws on the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to allow, bro's not going to, you know, he's going to mind his own business. He's not going to bother you, but he's not going to allow you to impose nothing. And he's not giving you any room.
I'm just saying, blood, we noticed.
Squabble up then, blood. Y'all afraid to fade, huh? I'll knock all y'all out. Let's get bracking ASAP.
He's not gonna give you no room to make him feel uncomfortable, or if he senses just the least bit of aggression.
That she's supposed to purr. Right now she sounds like a coffee can full of loose change.
Timing's where you asked me to set it. Carb's tired though. Could be the jet sticking.
Man, you told me tune up. I paid for tune up. I ain't trying to drag her home coughing like this.
We'll take another pass, adjust the mixture, maybe swap the plugs again. It'll cost you a little more time.
Time ain't the problem. Trust.
Or if he feels like you're trying to impose any kind of will or impose any ideas, he's not gonna give you any room whatsoever.
Tell me you hear that. I ain't tripping, right? That rattle sound like it's eating itself.
I hear it. Could be one of the vacuum lines slid off. I'll check the run.
Could be. Man, I paid you to make it clean. I drive out of here, people gonna think I stuffed a bagpipe under the hood.
Settle down. I'll find it. These old small blocks got 100 little leaks waiting to happen.
Nah, you ain't blaming the car. You the one ran the hoses. Look.
You see what I'm saying? So you're not really gonna be able to, you're not gonna be able to, you're not gonna be able to tell him what to do. You're not gonna be able to force him to do anything. You're not gonna threaten the nigga. That's out the way. That's not happening. You're not gonna do it. It's just not. He's not giving you no room. But at the same time, he's not rah-rah. He's not gonna be rah-rah about it, and he's not gonna be over KIL. He's not gonna be over. You see what I'm saying? So you're not gonna be around him and feel like, well, this guy's trying to bully me or bother me, or you know what I'm saying, like that. You're gonna feel safe around him. However, if you think that you're gonna impose anything on Stakk, and he's always been like that, he's not gonna do it. Like the story y'all talked about when we was in school, and the dude had something slick to say. He let the school know there will be no disrespect to my section whatsoever. He made an announcement.
No disrespect to Southside 30s. None, bro. Not another word. I'm serious.
If anybody has an issue with it, you can meet me at the locker room. And nobody said nothing. He was by himself. You see what I'm saying? He was like by himself. He didn't really have a bunch of backup and stuff like that, but he kind of let, like, when we were in school, like the first day when I was coming into school, or not the first day, but it was like maybe a year later, or it was around, I think maybe it was 10th grade, I think it was. You seen where I showed y'all the video where he's sitting up there and somebody said something out of pocket, and the dude's like, well, act like he didn't say it and all this, and he's, because he don't want to look like a chump, because he did say what he said, but he don't want to look like he's getting checked. But Stack's letting him know, like, I don't want to hear any more disrespect towards my turf by nobody. Don't say it again, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? If basically he's telling him, if you say this again, it's gonna be a problem. And he didn't use any certain words. He didn't say, he didn't call the man blood or nothing like that. He didn't do that. He could have. He's like, man, it ain't gonna be a problem, homie. It's, you know what I'm saying? And he's looking at the way he said it. And I'm watching this too, because the way I noticed the way that bro interacts with people when he checks them, it's funny when you see the expressions on the people that's getting checked. Because usually they done did or said something to bro, and bro's he's responding to the aggression. He don't impose. He's not imposing on the person. Bro's never gonna bully nobody, and he hated bullies. He didn't like bullies. So if there was somebody that was trying to bully somebody, he just automatically just don't like them. So that's one thing I can tell my homie. If he thought somebody was bullying somebody and he felt like the person was weaker, because you would have a lot of those type of situations. You'd have people at school, or you'd have, you know what I'm saying, and they might be part of a gang or whatever the case may be, and they're trying to bully somebody else that ain't got no backup. That nigga has a disdain for them. He doesn't like them. So now that gives him some room if he hears that the person said something about him, or about his people or whatever like that. So then that gives him the automatic authority to just go in on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he would do sometimes. If he felt like somebody was weak or getting picked on, he just ain't gonna like the person, and he'll just wait until the person does something that he don't like, that he felt imposed on them, and then he feels like righteous justice. He gets righteous justice. Now I can do what I want to do to this nigga because I didn't like him in the first place. So but he looked at it from a righteous standpoint. You see what I'm saying? So, but man, he tells this dude, man, it's gonna be a problem. He said, and dude's kind of looking off to because he got his dudes all standing by his little gang members and stuff at school. He's standing by them and they not saying nothing. We had another situation that was funny. Now I didn't see, this particular situation was this nigga at school. Me and Stack both had a problem with this dude. This when we was getting tighter and stuff like this, like 10th, 11th grade. This nigga was a loudmouth, bubble lip nigga. Ugly little bastard. He looked like one of the Gremlins, or like, you know, not the Gremlins, Critters. Or he looked kind of like one of the Gremlins or the Critters. He kind of reminds you, if you were to see a Gremlin, if you guys ever watched the Gremlins or Critters, you'll see these little, they look like, they just real demonic looking things. They're always up to no good. They're always doing shit. You know, they're obnoxious. You know, he was like one of them. So what he would do, and he'd always wear these old hot fluorescent ass clothes. He'd be these dark. He was a real dark skinned dude, and he looked like. Have you ever seen a grouper? Just picture like a darkly painted grouper with some hot neon fluorescent clothes, some FUBU fluorescent clothes. He'd have these hot, not hot pink, but like hot red or hot yellow, or you know, and he'd wear these hot ass fluorescent, these big bright ass colors. You know what I'm saying? And he'd always be talking shit and obnoxious. Stack never liked him. I never liked him. A lot of niggas didn't like him, and he had a badass sister too. So niggas used to kind of be on his sister. He'd be mad about it a lot of times. So this is one situation I could tell that we had. Now I had separate situations with the dude versus Stack. Dude's brother must have been some top level crip or something like that or whatever. So he'd always talk shit, and then he'd say, man, I'm gonna go get my brother, and I'm gonna go get this person to go get that person. So that's what he would do. He would talk shit, start some stuff, and then soon as you get ready to press him and beat him up, he'll start running, talking about who he gonna go get. He did that to Stack one time. Now Stack, I guess, knew his brother, and I guess his brother knew Stack too. So they was on opposite sides of the fence. But he's like, man, every time you look up. So I guess he might have had a conversation with his brother at one point in time and told him, like, you know, now see, dude's brother, he must have been somebody, but then Stack wasn't nobody. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't nobody. So you wasn't going to impose on him either. But I guess maybe they had a conversation. I don't know what happened, but basically this little tree gopher fish fry looking nigga, he tried to get them into some situation or whatever the case may be. And Stack kind of read into it like, you know, I ain't got no issue with him. But the thing is like, dude wasn't really gonna fight. He was just gonna talk, and he wasn't really gonna fight. But he talked as if he would. So every time that he gets into a situation at school, he runs and go get his brother, or runs and go get his little gangbanging friends or whatever, because he don't really want to fight. And he was mad because he was ugly and he dressed all hot fluorescent colors or whatever. So he was just annoying. He was really obnoxious. Nobody liked him. And that's all he'd be doing. He'd be talking shit and cracking lame ass jokes. Now my situation with him was different. My situation was similar. He'd always sit around the females at the lunch. All the Chicago females at the lunch. He knew them. I guess he was from their neighborhood. So I had a situation with him too that was different than Stack. What happened with us is I was talking to some of the women that was at the lunch table. By this time, I was kind of popular. So I go and I'm talking to the women and stuff like that. I won't say their names, but they, you know, they were all from Chicago, most of them. So it was like 5, 6 of them.
Hey, y'all sound like y'all from Chicago. I heard it the second you said car.
That's because we are Dub.
Southside, baby. The accent come with his own bus pass, don't it?
Boy, you silly.
For real, though. How y'all end up at South? Witness protection?
My mama moved us.
Well, she made this cafeteria a lot prettier. Gotta give it.
One of them, you know what I'm saying? It was like 2, 3 of, you know, I like the chocolate then. So it was about 2, 3 chocolates. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm buttering the women up a little bit. I'm cracking jokes and just talking to them. And then, you know, the little chocolate ones that I want to try to talk to or whatever, like they laughing. And so we having a good time. Here this nigga come up. You know, lip poke out of, and that's how he look, little beady eyes, you know, and sometimes he have his head in a little ponytail, and he comes up with his hot FUBU, his little FUBU sports, hot fluorescent yellow. He walking up like that. So I'm talking to them, so he bumps into me. He does this shit on purpose. So I'm talking to the women and stuff like that. I'm laughing, and I give him some backup, tell another joke, and I feel somebody bump me. So he's walking up, because I seen him walking up, then I turn around. So as he walking up, I'm cracking a joke. So he kind of bumps into me as if I bumped it, like I tried to bump into him. So I turn around. Man, move out my way. You know, so he's on that type of time. I said, nigga, I was standing here first. Man, I don't care. You bumped him. You apologize. You apologize. I'm like, nigga, I'm not about to apologize to your black ass. Like, so now, I'll beat me this motherfucker, DP. Just kind of going off and so I'm like, you ain't gonna beat nothing up. I said, oh, I start roasting them. So I start roasting them. I start getting on. So I said, man, I said, if you don't get that Navy SEAL inflatable lip. So he got the, he had a big ass lip to kind of get, yeah, whenever he talk. So I'm getting on this Navy SEAL inflatable lip. The women just dying. Oh man, they just flat, they bellied over. So I said, oh, we ain't gonna stop there. Let's get on them. Let's get on them Jiminy Cricket jeans you got. I get on the Jiminy Cricket jeans. So we go from the Navy SEAL inflatable lip to the Jiminy Cricket jeans. And then I said, let's get on the Pinocchio neck. Let's get on the Disney Pinocchio neck. So I'm getting on the Pinocchio neck. And then I get on and then now I'm getting on the Cabbage Patch. I'm getting on the Cabbage Patch haircut. He got the ponytail. He got the slick back ponytail. You know how he look? You know on Malcolm X, where dude was like, with Detroit Red. He looked like that nigga. He looked like that nigga, but even more of a gremlin. He looked, yeah, Detroit Red. You shouldn't count the numbers right. Kind of like dude. But even more, he just looks real sinister because he just looks like he's up to no good. Like he just got just disloyalty and jealousy just radiating from his body. Time he walks up on you and says something, he got some shit he talking. Man, what's going on over here? Every time if you talking to some females or whatever like that, I guess he felt like, cause sometimes he'd hang with the women a lot. But his deal was, he hang with them and I think some of them liked him, but if he sees you go over there and talking to the group of women, here he comes. What y'all talking about over here? He wants to know what everybody's talking about. It ain't nobody invited the nigga to the conversation. He just always want to know. He's always, man, what's going on? What y'all talking about? You know what's going on? Know what's going on? And I'm like, man, this nigga's a pest. Like the Raid can. If you were to look at the Raid can and see some of the invertebrates on the Raid can, that nigga should have been on the front page.
Hey, y'all hear me? I'm up here on the throne, baby, king of the counter. Raid can't touch me. Come on, Ant, let's party. Who's louder than me? Nobody. Yeah, wait, what's that?
Raid. Because he was a pest. He's always just doing shit. So I'm still getting on him. Navy SEAL, inflatable lip, pencil neck, Jiminy Cricket jeans, James and the Giant Peach, centipede, hot fluorescent shirt. I'm going in. I'm going in left and right on this dude. And he's getting madder and madder, man. Now he's been, man, fuck you, DP. I'll beat you, get my brother. Man, I'll fuck your brother, nigga. Who his brother was. Oh, he a Crip. So? Oh, that was the ultimate. That was the cardinal sin. He said he was a Crip, and I said, so? I didn't really know who his brother was at the time or whatever. Like, but I said, so what? Supposed to do to me? I said, I ain't in no gang. I said, I'll beat you up, nigga. So I'm still roasting him. I'm telling him I'll beat him up. He's yelling and he's hollering and carrying on and all that. The women just laughing their ass off. I keep hitting him with heaters and all that. After a while, he goes, man, fuck all that shit. Man, fuck you, nigga. I'll beat you. I don't give a fuck about you or your brother, nigga. I said, you call your brother up, I'll beat you up. I'll beat your brother up. I didn't know who his brother was. His brother must have been somebody that, but that's what he would do. And that's the situation. Stakk had the same situation with this nigga. So that was one of my little South High Chronicle situations or whatever. But like I said, at that time, you got to think. This was 10th, 11th grade. This is 10th, 11th grade. I really didn't have a lot of patience for niggas. I didn't give a damn who came up to the school or whatever like that. In my mind, you got to think. My pops was out the house around that time. In my mind, I felt like, man, shit, nigga come up to the school, I just beat their ass. I didn't really care who came up to the school. I really didn't. I had the opportunity to defend myself and beat shit up if I needed to, And like I say, I'm watching some of my homies check niggas in school. I'm watching Stakk check folks in school. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm laughing at it. I'm on the sidelines. Another little story. This kind of long. I'm on the bus. I'm getting ready to go to St. Paul. I might have been 18, 17, I don't know how old I was. But this was at the edge. They had like a club by Luxton Park. I think I told this story before. I had a club there was a club that people go to at Luxton Park that would be Thursday nights or Friday nights or whatever. I never went. I probably should have went. I think some people from St. Paul would go, but I forgot what it was. I gotta ask Stack what that club was. He'll hopefully in the comments he'll comment. So hopefully when he sees this, he'll comment what that club was called. But it was a club. They didn't have no liquor. Of course, it's for kids. It's like, 18, 16, 17, 18, 19 or whatever. So St. Paul people would sometimes come to Luxton Park and they play ball because they had a nice community center. Their Luxton Park Community Center, believe it, was better than the Coyle Center. I didn't go there a lot. I used to go there from time to time. So it was some niggas from St. Paul. Now, I showed y'all this video before, but it was some people from St. Paul. Now, Stack, I was on the 16 headed to St. Paul to go do something. I might have been going to Nano Systems, or, I might have had my CD burner and going to make a set. Ain't no telling what I was getting ready to do. But I was on the 16 headed to St. Paul. So this probably was 2000, maybe 99 or something like that. It was probably 99, 2000. I'm thinking it's 99, 2000. So he's at the corner arguing with some nigga. He's at the corner. I'm on the 16 and I see him talking to some dude, and the dude from St. Paul, I guess he's going off at the mouth or whatever, but I can see Stack Doe. He's talking to somebody. So I'm on the 16 coming by, but the way we're going, you could see them kind of on the corner or wherever they were at. So he must have had some altercation or whatever like that. So when I see him, when I'm on the 16, I see him and it looked like it's aggressive. So I jump off the bus. I ring the thing and I jump off the bus because I'm thinking it's going to be a rumble. So I'm about to go down there and help. So I get off the bus and I run down to the bus stop, and I'm kind of watching what's going on. And so now, as he's talking, he's checking the dude. And the dude keeps running off at the mouth. I guess it got to a point, Stack knew that the dude really didn't want to fight. So he felt like, well, man, shit, it felt like I'm bullying the nigga now. He's lame. He don't really want these hands. So he's trying to walk away from the dude. Dude's still yelling, going off at the mouth. So then he walks back. Like, man, I will really beat you up out here. So that goes on for a while. Eventually, Stack didn't beat the dude up. He knew that the dude didn't want to fight. It wouldn't have been no competition. So eventually it kind of calmed down. I don't remember talking to Stack about it till maybe after the fact, if at all. But, when I saw it, I was just out there for assistance. I wanted to see, what was going to happen or whatever the case may be. So I think I just went and jumped back on the bus. But I remember. So a few times I used to have this gray Jeep with red interior. He's one of the few people of our age bracket that had a car. He had a Jeep. And another time I seen Stack on the bus. I don't know where I was going to St. Paul again. They're taking that same bus towards St. Paul. I don't know where he was going. Knowing him, he probably was going to he was going somewhere, and he seen somebody on the bus. He seen somebody off the bus in St. Paul that he wanted to talk to. Because like I said, around that time, we didn't have these elaborate cell phones. So Stack's on the bus. He got his little red shoestrings and his black, that's what we used to wear sometimes. He had a black hoodie and his red shoestrings. Then he had his cornrows around that time. So he's on the bus and he sees somebody he recognizes. So he's throwing up his little, and so now he sees him, all right, DP, so he hops off the bus. We weren't hanging real tough back then, but I knew him from school. So he gets off the bus, I keep going to St. Paul. But, that's why I say, like, bro he wasn't really imposing. He was probably getting ready to go to Urban Lights. He had a situation in Urban Lights where it was another situation where somebody was trying to bother, not bother him, but I guess they were tripping on his shoestrings.
We're on color, homie. Take those off.
I ain't taking shit off, bro.
This ain't your block, man.
And maybe y'all should mind whose store it is.
I guess they were like, oh, you got to take them off or what? That bro ain't taking them joints off. Bro ain't taking them joints off. Bro's not taking them joints off at all. But I think he was at Urban Lights or he was around there because, if you in Luxton, you're not going to go all the way to Universal Records. You ain't got to go to Universal Records to 38th. You could just go up to Urban Lights all the way up University Avenue. Just take the 16. And if you lived in they lived in an interesting place with Luxton Park. Luxton Park, you got the southeast, you could be over northeast, and you could be in St. Paul, and you don't have to come to Minneapolis at all if you don't want to. That's the beauty of living in Luxton Park, especially if you got a car, or you could walk down to the 16. It's a little walk, because Stack stayed right by the community center. So he had a job. He could just leave, and he could just walk across the community center. Literally, he could walk across with his damn sandals. He could get that's where he had a job at. So, you know, but I remember one time, like, so after when me and one of my homies had the rumble, you know what I'm saying? We had the rumble, I call it the rumble of the century. The next day, or a couple of days after, we came over to Luxton Park. And we went over there to see if Stack was there, whatever the case may be. Stack wasn't coming outside. He was in the window or something. He said, what's up to us? And then he but that's where he lived. He lived literally across the street from the community center. Next time I go up there, I'm going to show y'all where bro lived. You know what I'm saying? He had it was kind of cool where he stayed at. He stayed in a strategic point. It's like, you know, you got to go all the way up the hill to get to his house. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, like, Luxton was very interesting because you live somewhere kind of like River Bluff to a certain degree. Like, you got to come all the way down or all the way up. If you're trying to get to me, you got to come all the way down to what I call the edge of the earth to get to River Bluff. If you try to get to Stack's house, you got to go all the way up. So now, if there was some situation where there was an issue where somebody was trying to do something, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. Because you got to go through all these other houses and stuff like that to get all the way to his house. First of all, you ain't gonna find out where the nigga lives. And 9 times, and the other thing is, you ain't gonna be able to get to him. You're not gonna be able to get to him. It's too much opposition. Luxton Park was like a damn fortress to a certain degree. You see what I'm saying? It was almost like a compound damn near. I mean, there's no fences. It wasn't gated. But like I say, you couldn't really go to Luxton. If you had a problem with somebody from Luxton, you couldn't really go to Luxton Park and just pull up on them and think you'll be able to do something to them unless they get sitting on the porch or whatever like that. You're not really going to be able to, you know, it's not just an open area where you could just come in and come out real fast. You can't really do it. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? But we were, after I had the rumble, me and my homie had the rumble. I'm up there with my homie Jay. We in his Caprice. And I guess we go by Stack's house, like, man, let's see what Stack does. He's like, man, let's see what's going on with folks, man. And so this was like a couple days or a day, like after the fight. It was a Friday night. I went to Luxton the next day, and all the Chicago niggas wanted to know about the fight, and they give me my props and respect and all this shit. And they're like, hey, we got them hands, Joe. You know, so they kind of, you know, we kids, man, we young. Like they like, shit, this nigga, you know, he get down. We didn't, because they didn't know. They're like, damn, that nigga really could fight. They didn't really know. So, Jay, I'm sitting in the passenger seat. We smoking a blunt. My head still hurt because my homie done punched the shit out of me. My ears hurt. Like, my temple hurted for like years. I think I should have went and he punched the fuck out of me. That shit hurted for years. I didn't ever tell him, but that shit right here, I think he did something. He punched a blood vessel or something. He punched me so hard. That shit hurt for a long time. It was tender for a long time. I don't know if I had brain damage or what, but that shit was tender. I said, damn, this shit hurts for years. That's why I said when I got into that scuffle, I didn't feel like nobody around my size could get with me, because that was just a completely unfair. That was David and Goliath, and David was really holding his own. So Jay's like, he passed the blunt. I'm still like, oh man, this shit hurt, bro. He's like, man, you know, you take some weed, Joe. So, hey man, you know, he said, real quick, between me and you, man, you think you can give a Donnie blood, folk? I said, man, I don't know. I don't think I could beat up Donnie. And I'm telling him, I said, maybe, I don't know. But I'm thinking about it. I said, I don't think I could beat bro up. I won't fight for him, no way. He said, but do you think if y'all had a one-on-one, you know, you think you could get with him? I said, man, I don't. That nigga can fight, Joe. He said, you ever seen him fight, Joe? I said, nah, man, that nigga. He said, man, G. He said, that nigga could go, G. Nigga got on folks' ass, Joe. He said, I done seen this shit. I said, oh, okay. And he kept repeating. He said, man, I'm down the blood. I'm telling you, that nigga get down, Joe. So, but I still ain't seen bro fight. I knew he could, but I never seen him fight. But then, like I say, when we start recording and then we call ourselves trying to get in shape, and we go into the we go to the gym and we punching on it. We went to a place where we punching on it. And so he was like, yeah, he said, you got some hard ones, deep pieces, but this, lean into it and it turn your show, these little techniques. And I'm like, man, why didn't you tell me that shit a long time ago? I said, bro, you should have, I would have pulverized niggas if I would have known that. He all kind of shit, and he's leaning into the little, he's showing me these little combos. I'm gonna put these little combos, the kind of stuff that he was doing that I seen from this program I be watching. He's hitting the little thing with these little combos.
Man, God would pick me up, put one of Big Phil homeboys in something so nice. I'ma just show you how he did it. He dodged the lick and he said, bam, 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 sleep. This a big nigga he dropped like this. Nigga dropped like a sack of bricks. Boom.
Like, and that's how I kind of knew, you know. And I said, man, nigga Mayweather and John Wick. I said, you a dangerous motherfucker, bro. I said, I won't want to beef with you. I just leave town. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna change my address and name. I'm gonna go into witness protect. I said, oh shit. I said, you want that real Navy? Like, if I could put, far as like, if you were to think of a character, far as rap or something like that, the closest thing to this nigga that I can remind me of is Mixie Slick.
Elo. What's up, gangsta?
If you listen to Mixie Slick, I'm just saying, if you're trying to figure out like how was Stakk, the closest resemblance to him would be Mixie Slick. This nigga would get money. He's Mayweather. He's John Wick. You know what I'm saying? But he don't bother nobody. But if you were to look at somebody and see how like the character and how they kind of move or talk or move, it'd be Mixie. If you ever heard of Mixie Slick, nigga from San Diego, he kind of reminds you of Mixie Slick a little bit. So that's the best way I could put for bro. But no, he was. You see the characters and the trailers and stuff. So I'm trying to give y'all an idea on how bro kind of reminded me of. You know what I'm saying? But then also the nigga could rap. He could rap his ass off. And I used to be like, man, bro needs to come out with an album. But you know, this rap stuff, like you said, after a while, you know, niggas probably just get tired of spending all this studio time and money and that shit. You need $100 grand to crack a single. You need $100,000 to really crack a single. That's the price. That's the going price. You need 100,000, man. You need to put 100,000 in it to really, you know, crack the single you want. But yeah, that's the Stakk story, man. I'm gonna put some AI in it, man. It's a long story. It's 1 hour. You know what I'm saying? But y'all will kind of get an idea on how bro acted or how he was or whatever. And then another thing too, bro was studious, and he was studious. He was good in school. He got good grades. He was good with the teachers. He was very respectful. He wasn't one of these like, if you seen like Instagram and see how people act and, you know, see how folks will be from like the streets or the guys or whatever, you really couldn't tell with him because he didn't give you that vibe. He didn't give you that snake vibe. He didn't give you that overbearing vibe. Like, okay, I can't trust this dude, or this ain't somebody that, you know, that's not, he's a loyal guy. He just, like I said, you really couldn't tell how bro was. If you put him on a suit and tie and threw him somewhere, he could blend in any environment. If bro wanted to be in IT or tech or be a corporate executive, he could have did it at the snap of a finger. Like, you know, like, he's a blue collar dude, but he could blend into anywhere. You would never know how he was because he never was one of them, man, I'm this and I'm that or whatever. He never bragged about himself. He didn't really say who he was, or he didn't really, you know, bro was, you know, that's why I said bro's Navy SEAL, man. Like I said, you don't know that Navy SEALs don't be talking about what they do and what they know how to do and all that. Bro's like Navy SEAL Stakk. That's why I always send them little funny stuff about, you know, when I be trolling them, with little Navy SEAL stuff and just because he's very, very interesting character, man. Very interesting, and will crack jokes. And you don't want to roast. Y'all seen the trailer, the trailer where I showed y'all, man, where dude was trying to roast him with the George Washington quarter? When Jason tried to get on, Stack, and bro actually roasted him and flipped the quarter, and the quarter landed on the George Washington fake flea wig. It took the whole school out. The whole auditorium, not the auditorium, but the whole third grade, ninth grade, it was ninth grade teams, or it was on the whole third floor roared. Everybody in that class fell out. No, that was like the top level roast of that year. And it was towards the end of the year. So I don't think Jason came back to school that year. I can't remember. I think that roast might have took him out to school. I don't think, Stack, did he come back to school after that? Man, I think he didn't come back to school after that, bro. I don't remember seeing him in 12th grade or 11th. I don't remember what year. That was like 10th, maybe end of 9th, or I think it was 10th. I didn't see him. I don't recall him being in 11th grade. Because after that roast, he got it. He didn't say nothing else. That was like the finisher. Do you remember in Mortal Kombat when you fight the dude with the four legs, the 4 arms? I forgot his name. And you finish him? That was it. That was the end of the game. He didn't come back with another roast. And not only that, not only did he not try to roast you again, he never tried to enter in any more roasts. Anybody that we seen roasting each other, he was done. He would just kind of sit there. Like he just came out of funeral or something like that. Like it was over. The George Washington quarter, when he flipped it, it was almost like a Saturday Night Live. He flipped the quarter. Let me see if I get a quarter so I can show y'all. I ain't got a quarter. I got a nickel. They're talking about stopping production. Look. Dude's haircut was just like this. He flipped it and it turned around, and when it got on the ground, you see dude's little flea wig just sitting on his face. Dude's haircut was just like that. It took him out. After a while, because he didn't say anything anymore at the school. Those last couple of days of school, he just walked around like someone stole his dog. I'm like, man, you shouldn't have tried to join a roast with Stack Doe. Yeah, Stack will roast you too. Bro will roast you too. You know, a lot of people, what I forgot to tell bro at school is, man, a lot of people admired bro, low key. They didn't really say a lot or whatever. They respected him, but they admired bro, you know, because he used to stand up to bullies. He'd defend weaker people against bullies. Oh, and I told him, I said, man, a lot of the brawls used to like you, bro. He's like, man, I didn't know. I said, man, let me tell you. I said, I used to hear the whispering. I said, them brawls used to be on you. So he had the street respect. He had the brawls that was liking him. All the teachers liked him. All the bullies feared him. They were terrified of Stack. All the bullies, the niggas and bullies in the South High and the bully niggas in the street stuff, they used to try to bully people. They used to be terrified of that nigga. They were terrified of him. The teachers loved him because he was studious. The brawls liked him, and he didn't even know half them brawls. Them brawls, they liked Stack. They liked Stack, and he had no clue. But he was a little shy like me. I was a little worse though. I was real shy. I was even more shy. I didn't have no game at all. He knew how to talk to him too, but he was kind of shy. But the brawls liked him. The nigga could roast like a motherfucker. He could dress. He could play ball. He had all the, he could have went to the league. He could play football. He could play basketball. He could roast the fuck out you. He could beat the fuck out of you. He could get John Wick if he need be. You know what I'm saying? He just had nigga could have had scholarships from Yale or some shit. He was smart. He could do all of it. He was just like a, you know, in a blue collar nigga. He could fix shit. He could fix on your old school. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro could do a lot of shit. He gets a funny dude. And a good-hearted, loyal dude. And nobody can eat a hamburger like this nigga. Nobody can eat a hamburger like this nigga. I ain't never seen nobody eat a hamburger where the hamburger looks so. I said, bro, that shit look good as fuck the way you eating that damn hamburger. I said, man, I'm about to go get a burger. And you know, and bro, you know, I know my brother. All he gonna do at McDonald's is get a quarter pounder with cheese. I ain't never seen him with a Big Mac. I ain't never seen a nigga enjoy a quarter pounder with cheese so much. That's what he gets. He gets a quarter pounder with cheese. And and we never seen him eat too much because he just be snacking. And I'd be like, at school, I'd be like, man, bro, don't even hardly eat. I used to think the nigga was an alien. You know what I'm saying? He just be snacking. He don't be eating a whole lunch. Like, bro gets militant, like, as if he thinks somebody's going, I don't know. I've never seen him eat a meal when we would sit down at lunch. I never seen him eat a whole meal. He might have one Papa John's slice of pizza. Cheese. It wouldn't be sausage. That's why when I seen him get the barbecue, the burger with the swine in the Willie Earl video, I trolled the fuck out of him because bro don't eat swine. So I just Nation of Islam to Malcolm X's ass to death. Because I know he don't eat swine. So I was just fucking with him the whole time. Like, hey bro, that's bacon, bro. Brother Malcolm wouldn't approve. And he's just looking like, man, fuck. I said, it's one of them days, ain't it, Stack? So that's the best. This is the introduction to Stack. This is an hour long. So I'm gonna have some AI in there. But that's the best character. When y'all see Stack and y'all wonder, like, damn, how is he and whatever like that? Why do I keep putting him in all these things? Because I remember all of these, and there's more. There's another story that I'm gonna tell you about that's really, really funny. It is hilarious. I gotta tell this story. This is a North Side story. So that's coming too. I recorded it a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna load this up with y'all.
Good, bro. You know the vibe. Hop in.
Say less.
Let's go get some BBQ, some Broca Brola, and the Beast Burgers.
You wild, man. I'm in.
You smell it before we even knock. Whole block gonna know she did bad. Man, you and them cookies. It's like you got radar from my mom's oven. I ain't leaving without a dozen. Believe that.
Hey, y'all, come on in. I just pulled these out a minute ago.
Smells like love in the pan. So are you showing off tonight?
Grab a plate before they cook.
Dodging red lights, you can see a young nigga couldn't even act right. I was more eager to load the clip and bust the Mac right. Mom used to get mad cause a nigga couldn't sit tight. She didn't understand why we used to wear our colors and couldn't comprehend why we bang against each other. I didn't think the same way at all. I was more like hit the alleyway, hunt you down, get busted, y'all. Rush to the hood, then tell another G story. Earn stripes, get right, that was our glory. Meanwhile, niggas dick riding the team. But when the downfall came, shit, they was hard to be seen. These niggas try to claim that they relative to you. Never came to the meetings that the evil that men do.
She didn't understand why we used to wear colors and couldn't comprehend why we bang against each other. They didn't understand why we used to wear colors and couldn't comprehend why we bang against each other.
Now that I got a little older, shit's getting stressful. To get to the money, I start chopping down voters. I learned you couldn't buy bullets with no money. When my pockets got bigger, niggas looked at me funny, like damn, they really want to stick me for my paper. They said it in the Bible, this shit would come later. Now should I feel such a regret? Hell no, because my first friend's still there. My all-black super tech, super to get you wet, super to hit your set, super to hit your neck. I wish a nigga would run up. Get slumped in your car while your hood's still up. Hazards blinking, I put that there for your own safety. New rules taught, don't get caught without your safety. I'll line back in your ass just for thinking you was safety. Catch you while you in the hood, while you holding a safe key. Bustin' left, bustin' right, you holding a safety. Praying to God, nigga, that you make it to safety. I'm at the crib watching David Letterman safety.